In this video, we will demonstrate the process for how we made each piece for the Capitol Lakes installation in Madison, Wisconsin. I start by layering the glass at the end of a steel blowpipe, using molten clear layers and granulated frits of colored glass. I heat each layer at 2100 degrees Fahrenheit so I can soften and melt various textures into the skin of the glass. Next, I blow into the pipe to expand the bubble against the optic mold, which cuts stripes into the piece. We work in partnership throughout everything we make. At this point, Renee takes over as she heats and shapes the glass to its final form. Renee chills the bottom of the bubble with only a pad of folded wet newspaper between her hand and the hot glass. She directs me to blow as the bubble expands to create an even wall thickness in the piece. She rolls the pipe along the arms of the bench to keep the glass on center throughout the entire process. Now we add a clear glass cookie foot to the bottom of the bubble. This attachment is where we will connect each piece to the installation structure. Renee drizzles a molten gather directly on the steel table. I use an industrial casting shear to cut the glass once we have the proper amount. We line up the bubble to attach before the foot becomes too cool to fuse to the piece. After heating, I take the blowpipe back to our bench and use jacks to cut a groove between the bubble and the foot. Renee uses a dry cherry wood paddle to shape and flatten the bottom of the clear foot as I turn the blowpipe. The next step is to transfer the glass onto a solid pipe called a puntil rod. We are finished blowing air into the piece. Renee gathers and shapes a bit of molten glass on the end of her puntil. I connect it to the bottom center of the foot. The temperature needs to be just right for it to stick. I score the neck with a wet tile saw, and with a tap, the piece transfers from the blowpipe to the punty. Renee quickly returns to heat the glass to avoid thermal shock. She heats and shapes the opening of the bubble where it disconnected from the blowpipe. She uses jacks inside the opening and directs me to paddle the lip to smooth any bumps from the break. The jacks are also used to make the opening wider. She reheats several times using jacks, wet newspaper, and centrifugal force to guide the opening to its appropriate diameter. As the piece gets hotter, you will notice more movement in the bubble. Renee directs the heat further down the sides and uses the jacks to open the lip until the whole piece is ready to spin out. With the oven doors closed, she slowly turns the pipe as the glass heats. When ready, she rotates the punty faster as centrifugal force opens the lip wide into a round plate. She lifts the pipe off the yoke and uses gravity to shape the final form. She turns the piece more slowly now as it cools to around 1200 degrees. Before it cools too much, she taps the connection at the punty to remove the piece. When it breaks off into my gloves, I quickly place the finished platter into a 950-degree oven to slowly cool.